Two friends lost in the woods uncover an ancient church with a sinister congregation that defies time. As they attempt to leave, a terrifying jump scare and a shocking twist await them, unveiling a dark secret buried within the shadows of the forgotten. In the heart of a forest that had seen the rise and fall of many moons, Michael and Sarah's laughter once echoed, a testament to their unbridled spirit of adventure. But as twilight descended, their mirth was swallowed by the encroaching gloom of the woods. The path they had followed was now just a memory, and with each step, the forest's embrace tightened, a silent warning that they were no longer the masters of their fate. The air grew colder, and the trees seemed to lean in, whispering secrets not meant for mortal ears. It was in this unsettling quietude that they stumbled upon an aberration, a church, its silhouette a jagged scar against the sky, an ancient sentinel standing guard over forgotten truths. The edifice was a relic of another age, its wooden frame warped, a grotesque skeleton. The stained glass, now just jagged teeth in the maw of the church, allowed only slivers of the dying light to penetrate the interior. Compelled by a mixture of fear and curiosity, the friends pushed open the doors, the creak of scream and the silence. Inside, the congregation was a gallery of the damned, their eyes empty of life yet filled with an unspeakable hunger. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the pews were lined with figures that seemed to have been carved from the night itself. No holy symbols adorned the walls, only shadows that danced with a life. As Michael and Sarah's eyes adjusted to the dim light, they realized the congregation's attention was fixed upon an altar where no priest stood, but a figure shrouded in darkness, its back to the room. The friends' unease turned to dread as the figure slowly turned, revealing a face not of flesh, but of bone, a grinning skull that seemed to mock their mortal fears. The congregation rose as one, the sound of their movement a symphony of whispers and rustling clothes. The friends turned to flee, but as they did, a piercing scream rent the air. Sarah's foot had caught on a loose floorboard, and as she fell, the congregation descended upon her like a tide of darkness. Michael, in a surge of adrenaline, pulled her free, and they ran, the screams still echoing in their ears, a banshee's wail that promised death. They burst from the church into the night, the forest now a maze of shadows chasing shadows. They ran without direction until the sight of headlights brought them to a staggering halt. A police cruiser emerged from the darkness like a chariot of salvation. The officer inside was a beacon of reality in the night's madness. He listened to their tale with a skeptic's ear until the mention of the church drew a pale shadow across his face. He drove them to the edge of the woods, the town's lights a comforting embrace. But as they thanked him, the officer's eyes never left the forest. "No one's been in those woods for years," he said, his voice a whisper. "That church burned down long ago, with the whole congregation inside." Michael and Sarah exchanged a look of disbelief, their minds reeling from the impossibility. As they turned to ask the officer more, they found the cruiser empty, the engine silent. The officer had vanished, leaving only the echo of his words behind. The friends were alone, the forest's edge a boundary between the known and the unknowable. They walked back to town in silence, each step a question, each heartbeat a reminder of the terror they had escaped. But the true horror lay in the realization that the forest had given them a glimpse into its heart-to-heart that beat in time with the darkest tales of humanity, and the church, its congregation, and the officer were all part of a story that had no end, only cycles that spun into the abyss of the unknown. When a couple seeking a tranquil life in rural Georgia stumbles upon a secluded church, their innocent exploration turns into a chilling encounter with a congregation that hides a menacing secret. As unwelcoming stares pierce their composure, a simple church visit spirals into a harrowing tale of pursuit and mystery. In the deep, undisturbed quiet of Warren County, Georgia, where the land stretches out like a canvas of green, Marissa and I found ourselves on a journey of potential new beginnings. The rural landscape whispered promises of solitude and space, a sanctuary from the clamor of city life. We were a couple bound not only by affection, but by a shared faith, Roman Catholicism, though Marissa's devotion often led her to the church's solace more than mine. It was an ordinary weekday, the sun high and alone in the clear sky, roads nearly deserted as if the world had paused just for us. We were there to judge the merits of the land, to see if our dreams could take root among its soil. Marissa, with her lifelong equestrian dreams, sought pastures for her beloved horses, a place where she could build a barn and let them run free. Our search had led us down a labyrinth of potential homes, each with its own whispered secrets and promises. It was during this quest that we stumbled upon an anomaly, a quaint church that seemed to huddle against the quiet road, its parking lot, a mosaic of vehicles that seemed oddly out of place. Curiosity, that fickle siren, beckoned us closer. The church was a stone's throw from a property we had just considered, and Marissa, ever the spiritual compass, suggested we investigate. Perhaps, she mused, if a service was in progress, we could glean insight into the heart of this community. We pulled into the parking lot, a patchwork of dirt and gravel, and nestled our car next to a minivan that had seen better days. The lot was a gallery of aged automobiles, which I offhandedly remarked to Marissa might reflect the modest means of the congregation. She agreed, her eyes reflecting a touch of melancholy for the simple church and its humble followers. The church doors opened with a creak that seemed to echo through the silence, revealing an interior that was intimate, almost too close for comfort. The pews, arranged in 5 neat rows, were bisected by a central aisle that seemed to lead straight to salvation, or so we thought. The air was thick with an unspoken tension, a stillness that seemed to hum with hidden notes. As we took our seats, the congregation's attention peeled away from their silent prayers and fixed upon us. It was a slow, deliberate motion, like the turning of heads in a macabre dance. We offered smiles, the universal olive branch, but they were met with a coldness that seeped into our bones. These were not the warm, welcoming faces of fellow believers, these were the masks of something else, something that did not wish to be disturbed. It was then I noticed the absence of women, save for Marissa, and the stares that seemed to claw at her presence. A chill ran down my spine as a man, his face obscured by a mask that seemed to mock the very idea of piety, stepped forward. His voice, when he spoke, was a serpent's hiss. "Who invited you here?" I felt a protective surge as I responded, our intentions innocent, our presence merely that of 2 souls seeking connection. But the man's next words, "You need to leave now," were a clear dismissal, a warning wrapped in velvet menace. Every last person in that church watched us, their eyes unblinking, as we retreated. We fled to our car, the sanctuary of the familiar, and as we fumbled with our escape, we saw a figure slip into their van. The notion of being followed seemed ludicrous until we saw the van's gray silhouette looming larger in our rearview mirror. Panic, sharp and unyielding, gripped us as we raced to the Warren County Sheriff's Office, the van a relentless shadow. It was only when we reached the safety of the law that the van peeled away, disappearing down the road as if it had never been. We drove home in silence, the day's events a haunting melody that played over in our minds. Warren County, with its picturesque landscapes and hidden shadows, was crossed off our list. We had sought a community, a place to call home, but what we found was a chapter from a horror story, a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying tales are the ones we stumble into unwittingly.